Okay, my friends, here it is. The Saturday morning live stream at the Garden Like a Viking headquarters, Zone 5/6, Northern Indiana. And yes, we got big trouble coming because do you remember a couple of weeks ago, maybe even just last week, I told you that I did a deep dive with AI and I really made it, asked it to ask all sorts of deep questions utilizing the current algorithms and blah, 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 blah. And it really took a long time to come back and say yes, that we are past frost. This is a warmer than average year. There's no cold snaps approaching. There's no all of the major weather forecasts in Canada and the European this and that. I mean, a huge thing of it says, yep, you're safe to plant out all your stuff. Now, guess what? Guess what? So let me just look at the forecast, and this is what's coming. Yes. So the forecast was all 50s in the lows, but now jumped down to 30. It actually was 28. That's next Sunday was actually 28 degrees here just shortly, just not that long ago, just like an hour ago when I looked at it. But look, high of 44, low of 30, or it's going to drop even more. And that typically means a few degrees cooler outside. So that's not good. That's not good. Now, this just reiterates exactly what I constantly preach every year is that it's way better to start too late than too early. The biggest mistake rookies make is starting too early. And guess what I did? I started too early. I started too early because I just kind of lost my mind, I guess. I lost perspective because the past 5 years have been super warm, super unseasonably warm. But this year is more like I remember it being like as a kid, kind of how it just like stays cold and cold. It's gonna be one of those years you go right from using the heater to the air conditioner. There's not gonna be any like open window, nice. It's gonna be right from 45 degrees to like 85 and humid and muggy, you know? So I started them too early. If this was if I started when I normally would and didn't try to get a jump on things and stuff, then I would be perfectly fine. Okay, look, here is how you want your pepper plants to be looking at this time. Okay, this is how you want the pepper plants to look. Basically, just starting to bud, just starting to blossom. Not actually blossom, but just starting to hit their growth. They don't have a bunch of roots coming out the bottom or anything. They're only, oh, see, it's got a nice spider on them. You see that? Look at that. So that's pretty much how you want them, okay? You don't want them like this, so that they're just huge, and this thing would be this tall, but you remember last week I topped it. And last week I topped it, okay? And look what happens when you top the plant. You remember that? So I topped it, and remember last week there was nothing in between these leaf nodes. There was nothing, just a little tiny smidgen of like a little nub. And now look, you got this whole huge side branch, another side branch. You go up here, turn it, another side branch, another side branch, another, and more of them down here. That's what happens when you top plants, is that it sends the growth hormone, auxin, from the growing tip, the top of the plant, it redirects it to the other nodes. And so now these will get some of the hormone that make them grow tall and straight. And so that will dramatically, if your stuff's getting too big, and it's something like peppers, you can top it, and that stalls them out essentially for like a week. So that's good, but this still needs to go in the ground like 2 weeks ago, but instead we've got at least 2 weeks until I can put it into the ground because I started too early. And so it's going to be all root bound and stunted. Look, this thing wants to go in the ground. You see those fuzzy roots coming out and stuff? Guys, I'm loving these Bootstrap Farmer pots, though. Seriously, these are the best ones. These are pretty, I mean, these are great too. These are also good, the smaller ones. But these bigger ones, the way that the bottom is structured, it's got a little cone in it, and it makes bottom watering real easy, and it makes these roots really like to seek the moisture out from there. Okay, so not good, not good. Scott Miller says soil temp, and yeah, the soil temp is actually much warmer than the air temp because the I put the black plastic down. So there's several things that I'm doing to mitigate this, all right? One, I'm just gonna keep them inside because it's better to have root-bound pepper plants than it is to have cold stunted pepper plants. If you've done this before, which I have, of course, over the years, and you try to get a jump on it and you set your peppers out too early, even though there's no frost that kills them, you will peppers are like the ultimate princess plant. They just, oh, if it's too cold, oh no, we're just done for the season. We're just done for the whole season. They'll just sit there for weeks. No, we're not growing. We're not doing anything. And then you're like, okay, it's hot. You got fertilizer, grow. And they're like, no, we're not growing. We're not going to do that all season. And you'll just have tiny little twigs, stunted, and little pepper plants like that all season. If you let them get cold, a cold snap. Once these peppers get that cold snap, there's no coming back from it. I mean, so it's better. I'm going to put them back in the basement, and we're just going to put them back under the grow lights, and they're going to grow like crazy and still just get huge. But all of this just reiterates my point. Don't start too early. I mean, only rookies start. This is amateur hour here. Okay? You want them to be like this, which I started like a month after these. This is like the ideal size. This can easily take another week, 2 weeks inside. But even this, we could plant this out right now and it would be great. All right? But I will, my next video this week is going to be on like Tuesday, is going to show you guys what I'm doing to mitigate this because my tomatoes are already in the ground. The tomatoes are already in the ground. I know. So yeah, we'll get into all that. We'll get into, I got a number of different plants to show you. I got all kinds of stuff. So yes, Meyer Lemons understands princess peppers. They are princess plants. No, I'm not doing that. No, it needs to be warm. It's like, but it is warm. Well, but I mean, sooner. It needs to be warm, different kind of warm. Oh, okay. So that's more what they're like, yeah? So, let's see. Yeah, Teets says up pot. Now, that is possible, definitely. But I don't like to up pot things indoors. I really don't. And fortunately, I started in these I think these are 3.5 inch. Not the standard 2-inch bootstrap farmers, but the 3 or 3.5, 3.3, something like that. There's links in the description if you guys want to get some. But these are more than 100% more soil than this. And so there is a lot of root, a lot of size for roots. So I've taken some of them out and it's not absurd yet. So I'm not going to really do that transplant shock again because in 2 weeks, they're not going to have time to fill out. All right. So for you guys that want to up pot and stuff, let's say that, okay, so here's the next size. And these things are nice. I can tell. These are the bootstrap farmer ones, of course. But look how much bigger these are. Okay, that's the next size up. And do you see how much? I mean, that's like 300% more soil. And so in those 2 weeks, they're not going to be able to fill out that space. And so therefore, in 2 to 3 weeks, when I go to plant them out, I'll tip them over and the roots will just collapse because they didn't have time to fill out this space. And with my little holes that I've already burned into the landscaping fabric, these won't fit. These won't fit right now. So for that reason, we're just going to keep them in here because if they had like another month to go, then I could consider putting them in this if I had to. But even then, they'd be flowering, they'd be trying to put out peppers, and it would just be a disaster. So if I had a month and a half left, I would start more seeds instead. But these will probably be fine. But no, I'm not going to up pot these. But if I did, sorry. If I did, I would use these. And I would also use these. Look at this, guys. These, if you do want to up pot, then check these out, okay? But also, this is what I'm going to use for the fall garden. Because remember, the fall garden, you got to be thinking about it a little bit. It can start the 1st of June, and then, but definitely the 1st of July. So with these bootstrap farmer things, what we're going to do is we're going to start up our cabbages, our different leafy green, or like the komatsuna and stuff like that. We're going to start all that up in these bigger pots because this is going to give us lots of room for um, delay, like timing delay. Because if we start up our fall garden in these tiny little pots like this in the middle of summer outdoors, they're going to grow so fast that we got to get them in the ground like right away, because they're going to, grow up and like expand so fast. But if we start them in these nice big ones, then or if we plan on up potting into these, then they got plenty of time. They can get nice and big. I mean, cabbages can get nice and big in these pots still. So you see, this is what we're going to use for the fall garden. And if you guys want some, links are in the description. I get a small kickback, definitely, but the point is that this is what I use, and they work really good. So I can highly recommend them. Now, let's see what you guys are saying. Okay, there's my rant on that for the moment. But let's see here. Daniel Henry says, are you still fertilizing them on a regular basis? Somewhat regular. I mean, I don't want to, no, not as much as I would. If I had to, like these, I'd be hitting them more often with a foliar and stuff to really encourage fast growth, like I was doing to these. That's why they grew so fast. They grew so fast that they're like way ready to go. I only started them like a couple weeks earlier than I have in the past, but it's just that my system is dialed in now. It's just so dialed in as far as the heat and the humidity and the lighting and the fertilization and the custom soil mix, all that stuff, that the plants just grow so fast. So let's see here. Yes, guys, I am 3 days into a fast. I've not eaten food for 3 days. If you guys know what the Master Cleanse is, on my other channel, me and Camille are both on day 3 of the Master Cleanse. And so it's a really wonderful experience. It's a 10-day experience. It's a fast for 10 days. We just drink this mixture of molasses and lemon juice, fresh squeezed, and cayenne pepper. And we drink that several times a day. And that is it for 10 days. It's pretty gnarly, but it's amazing what it does to the digestive system. And there's nothing else. I'm not taking the Shilajit. We don't eat anything, not one bite of anything for the whole 10 days. So it's a wonderful exercise in self-control, in cleansing, all this kind of stuff. I feel it so well now. And we're going to talk about this tomorrow on the Nate Muri channel, the Thrive channel. We're going to talk about the Master Cleanse and the experience this time. Because, I've been doing it for 20 years now, and this one is the easiest of all by far, because my lifestyle is not toxic like it used to be. And so I don't have to really detox. I mean, the body is just a nice colon cleanse, lymphatic system cleanse, reset the taste buds, reset the perspective. It's just wonderful. So we're going to talk about all that tomorrow on the Thrive channel. Okay. Let's see here. Yes, we will talk about that tomorrow on the Thrive channel. Yes. So I'm going to have a little drink right now. Typically, I like to chug these, but I need it, for this time right now. Ooh, yeah, that cayenne pepper makes it a little spicy, but it's wonderful. It's everything. It's a mineral balance, minerals. The lemon breaks up and removes calcium deposits and all kinds of things from the body. It's a wonderful way to keep your body tuned up. Yeah. And right now is the perfect time, because guess what? There's nothing happening in the garden. I mean, things are planted, but there's nothing being harvested. And this is what they call the hunger gap. And it's so there is all of our winter stores are pretty much eaten up. All the potatoes, they're done. Sweet potatoes done, squash done, everything's pretty much done except for the things you've canned. And so the stores are all pretty much gone, but yet nothing is coming in yet from the garden. So this is the perfect time to do it, because once that goodness starts coming in from the garden, there's no way. We're going to be mowing down on all kinds of things all season long, gorging ourselves on what is currently in harvest. And first things first is going to be the arugula. The arugula, the beets, the green onions are already here. The chives, fried chive blossoms. Oh my gosh. Sounds wonderful. Yes, Signal Law says calcium deposits are essentially arthritis. Yes, we will talk about all this tomorrow on the Thrive channel, the Nate Muri. All right, definitely. The lemon does have to be fresh. Yes, I made it just 15 minutes ago, or yeah, just like 15 minutes ago, right before I came on. So it's fresh enough for me right now. But typically, you squeeze it and drink it within 5 minutes. Yes, for the living enzymes. Um, yes, Brian, that is the Thrive channel. Yes. Um, any tips for planting lemongrass? My wife wants me to grow some. Okay, yes. The lemongrass I grow here is nice and big and luscious and tall and beautiful and super fragrant, and you can cut from it all season long. So the way to do it is it's a grass, obviously. And so you want it to have a really rich source of nutrients. The more nutrients it has, the faster it will grow. And it likes full blast sun. I mean, it can handle, it can thrive really good in full blast sun. So my lemongrass last year was like 4 feet tall or taller. I don't know exactly. It was in a pot on the stairs, but in full blast sun. And so you want to make sure that it's got plenty of nutrients in it, definitely. All right, compost is good, but it can use more than compost. It can use manures, definitely those chicken manure, something real rich in the nitrogen sources. Chicken manure is good. Granular stuff, I mean, the Viking granular obviously is ideal. That's all I use now around here. But if you don't have that, then you can use bags of alfalfa pellets from the store or alfalfa, meal from the store. That's a really good one. Okay, grass for grass. Yeah, that one works really good. So, but it will also need. So, if you wanted to make sure that you have all the nutrients mostly the nutrients, then make a. Now I'm telling you how to grow it like biggest and best. You can just plant it out in anywhere you want in the garden, and it will grow and it will be fine. Yeah, it's a grass, and so it grows pretty easily. But I'm talking about if you want like Jurassic, huge, impressive, beautiful lemongrass. And the way you would do that is to make your own soil mix out of like peat moss or cocoa coir, one of the two, and then some perlite, like in my videos, how I make my custom mix for pots. And then add some compost, then add some alfalfa pellets, then some a bit of wood ash is really good for it. And if you've got a little bit of manures, is really good for it. Or if you want to buy more stuff, bone meal, azomite for all the minerals. Those kind of things are going to make it really rich, and it's going to grow. It's going to grow three times as big and lush and fast as the one you just plant in normal soil. So it's up to you how you want to do it, but it can also take some shade. So if you have a one that gets partial shade, you can plant it there as well. Yes, but think about other grasses, how the directly correlates to the amount of sunlight that they get. The bigger and lush, the shade, the smaller. So, and yes, compost tea, of course, very beneficial for them. So, Taylor Reindl, yes, says, question, I think my tomatoes need fertilizer. Do you just use compost extract? Compost extract, worm casting extract, yes, you can definitely use that. I know you've got some Viking granular, so you can put a tablespoon of that in with the compost as you extract. If you're doing it in the paint strainer, you can put the compost, or the worm castings also work very well if you have them. And then like a tablespoon or two of the Viking granular, and then mix it all real good. I mean, really agitate it really well, because the Viking granular's got, tons of nutrients in it, but also the mycorrhizal fungi that your plants probably don't have in the soil as growing mediums. And so that will really help to encourage deep root formation. And so, yes, compost extract is pretty much plenty. Although I do use also the fish fertilizer occasionally while they're indoors, but don't use too much, because if you use too much of it, it will smell like dead fish, of course. But you want to use a reasonable amount. Guys, is this microphone working? Is this working? You want to use a reasonable amount, but don't make it, rancid or anything like that. Okay, Michelle Poletti says, can you spell out your other channel, please? I don't have it. It is my name. It's Nate. That's my first name, shortened. And then Muri, Muri. That's it. There is, I think, a link in the description. I'm not sure if it is there anymore. But guys, look, this is ridiculous, okay? This is not what you want your tomatoes to look like, to be this big. All right, you see, they're already trying to grab all kinds of stuff. Roots are busting out of here. Look at these roots here. They're trying to put down roots here. They're wanting to put down roots all over the place. So this is too big, all right? You only want them about like that, but still you can plant them like this. We're going to cut this one off, we're going to cut this one off, and we're going to bury it just about up to here. And they will put down definitely some more roots. So the whole thing doesn't turn to a root mass, but they will definitely put down more roots and be more sturdy and solid if you do that. But yes, you can fertilize them, definitely. These things should have been in the ground. I mean, no matter how much fertilizer you give them, if they're just choked out and way, not in their natural environment, they're not going to be thriving. So again, planted them way too early. Let's see here. Lots of full sun. Okay, good. Matt Ware's got lots of full blast sun. Yes, definitely. That's how you want to do it. You put it in that sun, but you want to keep the root zone relatively cool. Although the lemongrass can handle more hot roots than most any other plant, because it's truly tropical. I mean, the lemongrass is truly like from the tropics. Okay, it's like from Bangkok area. And I often keep track of places, the weather of places where I've been. And so look at this, guys. Let's see here. Bangkok right now. Look at those. Look at that weather. Low of 84, high of 87, and thunderstorms every day. Even the days they don't call for it, it's still thunderstorms every day. So it's like maximum humidity. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's so, to someone like me who grew up in northern Indiana, it's unbearable. I mean, it's just, oh my gosh, you go outside and you're just roasting. But thankfully, when I lived in the islands of Koh Tao, it didn't get quite that hot because the ocean was there and you spend the whole day in the shade or diving, and so you didn't like experience that. But here, this is what I'm saying. Here is the native environment of a lot of what we grow, guys, of things like sweet potatoes, of ginger, of turmeric, of what was the one we were just talking about? I forget, but many of the plants. Okay, so that's what their native environment is more like, and so you have to think, wow, that's super hot. All right, but then there's also where John Saldana, which I haven't heard from in a while. Please speak up if you're listening. Chia, and where was this again? Chia is in Colombia, I think. Yes. And so look at how mild this climate is. Look at how temperate. The lows are the exact same. The highs are the exact same. Thunderstorms, cloudy every single day. Every time I look at this forecast, it shows this, basically. 50 to 60, 65. It gets up to like 72 in the middle of summer. And as low maybe as 48. But that's it. And just overcast, moist every day. I would love this. I mean, I would pretty much thrive in that. Because that's like Northern California in the wintertime, basically. But this is where certain things evolve to thrive, all right? Like potatoes. Actually, potatoes come from regions like this. Real temperate, mild, lots of rain, but good drainage, of course, and overcast, diffused sunlight. This is also where things like maca root comes from. I'm trying to grow some maca root, some black maca this year, but it's going to have a hard time here because if something grows to where and a lot of the greens and stuff like that we grow, they've evolved to this kind of climate. Okay, there's several places on Earth that have climates like this, and if the plants evolve to this, and then all of a sudden they experience northern Indiana, which will have 29 degrees one day and then 84 degrees the next day, and then way down to, then they bolt. They go, what is this? And they bolt. And so that's like spinach and stuff like that. So you always have to kind of understand where the plants came from, because then that will tell you sort of what they need. And if they came from a place like this, they're going to struggle in your northern Indiana, which can be very extreme as far as the temperature differences. That's what does it to plants, is the temperature differences. If it's real temperate like this, changing just a couple degrees a day, then that's a whole different kind of climate. Yeah, whole different kind of climate. So yes. Oh yeah, got nailed by hail the other day, huh? What's up, Brian Aree? Hailstorm, huh? We had a little bit of it here a while. So let's see here. So guys, what are you growing? What do you got growing right now? What are the challenges that you foresee this season? What kind of expectations do you have? What kind of hopes do you have for the upcoming season? Now, several things going on here. One, remember I got this Blue Lab pH pen not long ago, brand new, $200, okay, top of the line, and it's broke. I used it a couple of times and it already won't calibrate. And I've had these things when I was in Northern California growing high stakes gardening. I lived by these things. I had a Pelican case. You know what those are? Real solid. I had a Pelican case with every instrument you could imagine in there to test soil pH, to test conductivity. I did the truncheon and stuff, all these different instruments to test everything. And I had it in a nice Pelican case. And I used them all the time. And never did they break. But things have just become so generic. Even the same company, it appears to be the same, but it's not the same. I could tell right away, it's just not the same. It doesn't feel the same in the hand. It doesn't function the same, and it broke immediately. And I was rough on that stuff. In the mountains, I was using it multiple times every day. But now I gotta, file a claim with more of that stuff. Gonna contact the company. Well, we'll see. I shouldn't say that yet. I haven't even contacted the company. Okay, so I'm not gonna say yet if it's a headache. But I will contact them and tell them the issue, and then I will see. Okay, and then I will speak on to, if they're like, yeah, no problem, we'll send you a replacement one. That's good. It's still not great though, because I've had several of these in life and none of them ever did this. But now, 10 years later, I can just guarantee everything is cheaper. It just feels that way, and it obviously functions that way. So because, and you know that I don't even worry about pH anymore, but because we're doing the blueberry experiment out at the Viking North plot, I have to test the pH. And so you guys will see the blueberry experiment is cool, very cool. And we're going to get to the bottom of the whole thing. Does the blueberries really need that princess soil? Does it really need to be just the right temperature and just the right pH and all of this stuff? Or can we just grind up the Indiana clay and plant them in that? And we will see. We did right side by side. So we're going to know for sure this year, the next year, and the upcoming years. Yeah. So just wanted to say that. Now, remember though, I have not contacted the company yet, so they might make it right straight away, really easily. We will see. That would be best case scenario. Yeah, we'll send you another, it's probably the sensor part. Yeah, we'll send you another one. But if they're like, well, you didn't, well, show us proof. You're going to have to contact a lawyer and build a case against blah, blah, blah. Then just forget it. Thankfully, I got it through Amazon, though, so Amazon will deal with it. because it's like 2 months old. I mean, I only used it a couple times. Come on. So, anyways. Yeah, Signal Law says I was in Bangkok for 5 days and Chiang Mai for 4. Rode an elephant. Oh yeah, definitely. Yep, those are some good places. Definitely super hot, super humid. But after you're there for a while, you sort of acclimate, and it wasn't nearly as oppressive. But if I went there now, oh, I'd melt. I would melt. Tsunami Tommy says my walking onions are 3 feet tall and top bulging. Can I plant top bulbing? Can I plant the top sprouts at this point? I wouldn't. There's no need for that. I mean, there's no need. The best time to plant the bulbs are when they fall. When the plant falls over and it rows or walks, when it falls over, that's when they start. You'll see once they start developing their own tiny little plants off of those, that's when you can plant them out. I mean, maybe you could right now, but why? It's best to just let them do their thing, let them establish, let them produce that top bulb, and then come July, you can plant the top bulbs. So if you guys didn't get them, we will be selling them again this upcoming season. So that's probably going to start about July, but we might have a pre-order thing on the website if I can figure out how to do that, which I'm sure I can. So look out for that if you guys want them, or if you want to gift them to anybody. We've got the whole next batch growing up strong. One thing that we are done shipping for the moment is the Viking granular fertilizer. So that was an amazing learning experience, guys. Amazing learning experience for me and for us. I just learned so much, which we'll talk about on the Thrive channel tomorrow, on the Nate Murray channel, about that intense learning experience and how valuable things like that really are. You just don't know until you do it. Once you do it, then you know. Then it's like, especially if it costs you money, then you really know, because it's like really impactful then, So yeah, that whole thing was really wonderful. Now we're not done doing that. I just I know now that I need to, in the off season, I need to stack up a couple hundred buckets full already, so that when the season comes and all the orders come in, then I can just boom, 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 ship, instead of having to mix them and ship them, But so many things I learned. We will talk about that on the Thrive channel yeah. Anyways, we'll still be doing them in smaller batches, and I'll let you guys know if you want some. I will let you know when it's available. But for the moment, we're sold out of that. So thank you to everybody. And if you have ordered it, the final shipment got taken out by UPS on Friday. So everyone that ordered one should be either have one, or by the end of next week, even the people in California and Oregon should have theirs. Okay. If that hasn't happened by the end of next week, contact me. I'll immediately look into it and get it out. Okay. So yes, but all of them pretty much should be shipped out at this point. All right. But they just shipped on Friday. So we're using UPS, which appears to be a much better company. FedEx is the worst company I've ever tried to deal with. What a nightmare. I mean, FedEx is what really made me just stop. Okay, we're done. We're just done, because I can't, it has to be like a full-time job, being a shipping department, having to get on the phone and having to file a claim, and where's this package? And then, well, you got to file a dispute, and then you got to start building a case. Then you got to email them 12 times and get denied all this stuff. And then you got to contact, well, do you got video proof? Well, you're going to have to contact a lawyer and blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, just forget it. Just forget it. Just forget it. Part of the learning experience is knowing when you're stretched too thin and knowing what is actually important. The 80-20 rule. What are the broad stroke things? Not the tiny little details that might make some money or might be cool to do, but what are the broad stroke things? Yeah, very important. So, let us see here. Okay, 2 questions. Miss Gypsy Mona says, any use for crushed eggshells? Definitely. You can make a water-soluble calcium acetate with the eggshells and the apple cider vinegar, or any kind of vinegar. So please watch that video. Very useful for the plants. They love it, especially tomatoes, peppers, especially in a foliar spray. They love that. So check out that video. Jeffrey says, isn't maca supposed to be started in the fall? I thought I saw that somewhere, but could be mistaken. That would be in a very temperate climate, yes. If you lived in like that place I just showed you in Chia, then yes. But if you live in northern Indiana, no, nothing is growing over the winter time here, nothing. And so not even, I mean, winter rye survives and green onions survive, but they don't grow. And so when people talk about planting things over the winter, they are not in this zone, that's for sure. So if I was in Tennessee, definitely you can grow stuff over the winter. But here, no. What? Armin Irie says, we have only had 1 to 2 days of rain all of April here in Seattle. That sounds... So the dry season is already there? Or does Seattle have a dry season? Because like Northern California has a dry season and a wet season. And then when the rains come, it doesn't stop for like 6 months. But once they stop, it's bone dry for 6 months. Everything turns brown. The grass turns brown. Naturally, forest fires happen in those areas. And then the rains come and instantly everything turns luscious green again, and the waterfalls start flowing again, everything. And all winter long, it's just kind of overcast and periodic storm, rain, not really storms, but just gentle rains. Oh, it's so wonderful. I love that climate. But now that I'm into like cold training and sauna therapy and stuff, it's not, Northern California doesn't get cold enough for me, you know? So, Big Will Dog, what's up, my friend? Says, Nate, I just finished planting out my green stalk, like I mentioned to you. Your temps just north of me are pretty different from mine, and I have no worries about my tomatoes. What? That's pretty wild. Let me see real quick. Let's just take a look because, and see here, these are the temperatures of where I do the consulting, you know, with well, now they're great friends of mine. But this, if your temperature looks like that, you can grow anything right now. That is like the ideal temperature. Overcast, well, they did have a lot more rains. Every day was showing rain, just like yesterday. That's a really good temperature, okay? But even they are going to dip way down. See, Sunday and Monday's 48 for them, which is a huge drop from 65. But here, let's see here. I kind of want to see what Indianapolis is like now. So let us just check right now. Indianapolis. Okay. And, well, not that much different. Look at your Saturday, Sunday, Monday. 2 degrees different. So, okay, definitely a little bit warmer. But you're definitely going to have to watch out for those tomatoes or any heat-loving stuff that is in the ground. But thankfully, it's a green stalk. You can just roll it or take it into the garage or cover it up with something. Yeah. So I think we're going to do another green stalk. We're going to do an all strawberry experiment this year. So we got several things coming on. What do you guys want to see me trying in the green stalk? I've already got all kinds of ideas because I get so many questions from you guys about vertical planting and stuff. And I've had a couple of them from other companies that are Chinese based, and they're really generic. But this company seems to be the real deal. So we are going to test it out with all different kinds of stuff. We're going to bush green beans. We're doing green onions. We're going to do all sorts of stuff. But then in one, we're doing just strawberries, just this one particular type of strawberry that is supposedly the ultimate strawberry for vertical growing. So if you guys, what else do you want to see grown on that? Yeah. So let's see. Heather Fox says, Nate, once things start to sprout, can I use the Viking granular or wait till they are outside? I'm late planting everything, and I need to get this stuff thriving. Well, this year, that's not a problem. If you're late planting everything, no worries. Just keep everything nice and warm. And so if you've got the Viking granular, then the best way to utilize that would be to put it now into the places where you're going to be planting, in the actual planting holes. Mix it into the top several inches of the soil so that it will have a week or so, or even 2 weeks, to really kick into gear. Now, you can perfectly, and I do most of the time, just add it at time of planting. That's perfectly fine, because it does have stuff that's immediately available to the plants. So long as you use the right amounts, meaning enough of the Viking granular, your plants are going to grow really well. So long as you've got consistent moisture so that the microbial activity can decompose the ingredients. Okay? Because remember, and all of you know this by now, but I'm just restating this, that in the organic systems, none of this stuff that we put into the soil is by itself immediately available to the plant, meaning that the plant doesn't just suck up the bone meal or the blood meal or the phosphorus just from the ingredients. All of the ingredients have to first be digested by microorganisms. Some of them can be digested really fast and easy, like in a couple days, like the blood meal. And they can start their decomposition process and therefore become available to the plants very quickly. Other things take a lot longer, depending on certain factors, like particle size and all of that. But the Viking granular is very soluble. I mean, most of it breaks down quite fast, including the humic acids, definitely. And so even the little things that look like little crystals in it, that's leonardite. Okay, it's a naturally mined substance. It's very rich in minerals, and it's wonderful for the plants. And it actually dissolves quite easily. So the best way to do it, you could make a tea. If you need to get your stuff sprouted and growing, make a tea out of the maybe some compost or some worm castings, like I show. The compost extract, and then add a tablespoon of the Viking granular in liquid form, and make sure to slosh it around real good. Or even just take a tablespoon and put it into a quart of water, or whatever it is, even a half gallon of water, a tablespoon, and let it dissolve real good, and then water your plants with that. I would say a tablespoon to a half gallon of water, and let it dissolve real good, and then water your plants with that. That will be very effective as well. So I want to show you guys a couple of other things. Do you guys remember that contest that we had last year with the with the school moms, where how they give the kid a thing to take home at the end of the season, and then they're like, okay, grow it up over the season and bring it back, and then we'll have a contest to see in the fall time who grew it the best. Boy, I took that dead serious. I said, oh man, okay, I got it. So I was diligently caring for that thing, and I thought it was great. It was a begonia, and it is a begonia. And so we took it in, and we got second place because one of the moms had hers, which was 2 years old. And I was like, well, we can't possibly compare it to a second year plant that's had so much, it was so much bigger and fuller. But that's fine, because guess what? I put it in the grow tent over the winter and overwintered it, and it's beautiful now. And so now we're going to I'm going to nurture it again all summer long and get it just ridiculously beautiful and big. And then we're going to take it back and see. And we're going to see, okay? I'm just saying. So we're going to see. But now they gave us, so if you guys have any begonia growing tips, let me know. It's a smaller, it's not like the big type of begonias. It's a different kind. I will bring it in next time. But this is the one they gave us this year. Yeah, this is like a coleus. So we are going to, these things will get big and beautiful, and I know exactly what to do with these. So we are going to make this thing gorgeous, and it's going to be huge, and it's going to win. Okay, so we're going to show them how the Viking, we're just going to show them how we do it here. Okay, so Big West, that's pretty good. That's pretty close to how it was. Please allow 3 growing seasons and 6 business days for your parcel. That's about how it was. Shipping the Viking granular. We just had a huge bottleneck, just joke with FedEx, and so we had to switch to UPS, which is a much better company so far. Their website is super intuitive, really easy to understand, really straightforward. They tell you exactly what they're charging you and why. And if your packaging is different, then they don't allow you to continue before you address certain issues. Uh, Instead of FedEx just lets you do whatever you want, put whatever you want, and then when they pick it up and scan it, then they just decide whatever they want to charge you, and they're linked up to your account. So just take out whatever you want. It doesn't even matter. And they don't notify you. They don't nothing. It's so secretive. You got to dig and dig and dig through their website to try and then you got to sign up for the billing manager, which is different than the shipping manager, which is different from the delivery manager, which is all these different apps and departments you got to have. Oh my goodness, it's a total nightmare. And the end result is that they will just charge you just whatever they want, astronomical, way more than you agreed on, and there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can do about it. Yep. So thank you for choosing FedEx. So that's a huge ordeal, but these are all things you learn, you know. But the UPS is way different. Right up front, they're like, no, you can't ship in buckets. Otherwise, it's going to be this much more expensive, like double the price. And I was like, whoa, okay. So I knew that right up front with UPS. And so I put them in boxes now and it shipped, and way better. And I had quite a few of them. And the guy was like, I thought the guy was going to come and be like, oh man, because these buckets are 40, or these boxes are 40 pounds a piece. Yeah. And we had quite a few of them yesterday. So, but the guy was like, yeah, no problem. Yeah, no problem. And he was just putting them in there. I said, is this okay? Is this, yeah, it's no problem at all. There's no limit. Yep. He was all chipper. The FedEx guys are all just like, oh God. Just all like downer, just kind of moping around. The UPS guys are like sharp and on it. And yeah, no problem. Boom, spring in their step. So I don't know what the difference is, but obviously they're happier than the FedEx people. I can say that for sure. So anyways, Teats Treats, $5. Thank you very much, my friend. Says, I know we don't ppm the compost tea, but can I ppm it to track the microbe growth, or do microbes not show up in ppm? The granular is working already. Definitely the granular is working already. Super good. I'm so glad that you got it. So no, okay, compost tea, no, compost tea, you can't measure microbial growth from ppm. Parts per million is total dissolved solids, basically. And so it only shows up like minerals, essentially. It's not going to be influenced by the microorganisms. And so we will have a Shooting the Soil on here in a couple of weeks, who is very good at that kind of stuff. And so we will ask him that question then. All right. But no, my experience is that it doesn't make any difference. If you have microbes in there, the ppm is something completely different because they measure it through electrical conductivity. Yeah, it's a whole different formula. So the only way you can really tell is by putting it under a microscope and then evaluating how active the organisms are. That's something I want to ask Matt as well when we do the interview with him in a couple weeks, is what kind of microscope I should get. I feel like I want to get a microscope again, because I used to have it when we started in Northern California. That's when the Elaine Ingham and the Teeming with Nutrients, Jeff Lowenfels, all that kind of stuff was really super popular at that time, really blossoming. And so we had aerated teas bubbling. You know, in Redway, they have grow shops with 1,200-gallon tanks. Maybe not 1,200. No, it would have been like 700-gallon tanks of bubbling aerated compost tea. You can go in there and buy compost tea by the gallon, fresh. It was amazing. And then take it back. So, and we started using microscopes and stuff. So I still remember it. I wasn't like leading that operation at that time. That was much later. So, but I was observing it all. So I have a relative understanding of it. But we could get much deeper into it. And I think now is probably the time that we should be doing that we're ready to dive a bit deeper into the looking under the microscope at some of the compost teas and certain other microbial brews. So, yes. Alex Forgay, $10. Thank you, my friend. Says, good morning, Nate. Can I scratch the granular through my mulch, then water it in? Same question as last week, but I missed it or never got it. Okay, so Did I miss it last week? Sorry. The let's see here. Can I scratch the granular through my mulch? Okay, so you're talking about wood chip mulch, or what kind of mulch are you talking about? Because that's going to be, you can, yes. What would be ideal though is if you lifted it up and put it underneath the mulch. The ideal place for something like that, if you're doing totally no-till, is to be at the interface between the soil and the mulch. And so you don't really want to, if you, it will work. That's just not the best use of it, you know? So if you have mulch, it will go through, definitely, especially with the waterings, it will go through. The things like the humic acid that's in here is very, very water soluble. All of the meals that are water soluble. The azomite is going to break down real fast. Most of it's going to break down real fast. The only thing that would not would be like the soft rock phosphate. That takes a bit longer. Yeah, so you could, yeah, you could. Let's see here. Mississippi Soldier says, what would you use for fertilizer for corn? I typically had grown it. One year we grew it back here, big old patch of it, and utilized chicken manure, fresh chicken manure, and it loves it. It loves high nitro. It's a grass, basically, and so it loves high nitro. So any of the manures, chicken manure would be great. I don't know what you have access to. Do you have access to manures, or is it just compost, or is it you would have to buy bags of stuff? If you have to buy bags of stuff, then it would be alfalfa pellets. Yeah, yep. But if you that'd be the most economical way and the best thing for them, because the alfalfa's got growth stimulating hormones in it as well. Brian, yes, that's a great question. We'll talk about that definitely tomorrow as well. But it says, have you looked into a manufacturing company to process your granular fertilizer and ship it? I have not at this point, because this this whole thing has shown me that I can't stretch myself too thin. So I need to, right now, I need to be focusing on the courses, on the content. I didn't even make a video this week because I was so busy with all the fertilizer stuff and all of the other auxiliary things. So I really need to focus on what's important right now, and that's the content. Okay, it's go time for all of that. So I can't be messing around trying to do so many other things right now, and I am not to the point yet where that would be feasible. The demand is not that high yet. So that'll be some years down the road, possibly. So a few seasons down the road. Or if I had some people that I knew and trusted, relatives or something that didn't have a job, then that's what I would like. I would say, hey, you go and mix them up and ship them and all that stuff, and I will pay you X amount per bucket. That would be ideal. That would be ideal, because I like it being in small batches, hand mixed. I like having total control over exactly what goes in it. Oh yeah, turning is learning, definitely. If you guys want local pickup, yeah, I can mix you up some, no problem. So yep, it's available for local pickup. Thank you, Big Wes. Yes, Big Wes says, Big West Lawn Care is 3 years into an investment that hasn't paid off yet. Hold the line and keep building the brand, buddy. Well, thank you very much for the encouragement, my friend. Same to you. Same to you, definitely. It's also shown me how valuable it is to have other people involved where they can be. Camille definitely helps, is very, very helpful when she can be. She's got she's got her own full-time gig going on. So, but I want to be very clear, she's extremely helpful when she can be, when she's available. But that's not like, I'm to the point now, if we were going to do fertilizers, I need a full-time somebody. You know, I mean, I could use a full-time partner doing all this stuff right now. But so until that time comes, I realize, okay, I need to focus on what is going to be the maximum revenue generators, and that's going to be the courses. I already know it and see it. So that's what I have to focus on, and maintaining what I already have, which is the content. I didn't even get to make a video last week. Thank you. I will check out the Discord when I get done with this. We will go to the Discord and talk about the dosage. Yeah. Kelly Cornell, see, I get this a lot. Says, I'll double check this year, but my soil has been neutral and the blueberry bushes do fine. Lots of berries last year when I put the bird net up. Yeah, see, and that is a sort of common, I get that question a lot, or I get that comment. I hear that a lot. People are like, well, I didn't do anything to my blueberries and they're fine. They're thriving. But then some people are like, oh, you won't get a single berry. They'll be yellow and wilted and gross, and you won't get anything unless you do this, pH it heavily. So we're going to see, you know. There can also be regional variance, of course. You know, it might just so happen that your soil naturally is okay for blueberries, but for the other 99% of plants, you don't need to worry about pH at all. I mean, you just put high organic matter, life that's in the soil. But the blueberries, I'm feeling, are just the total outliers. Like if you have a chart and they're all pretty much like grouping here, and there's like one outlier or two outliers, it'd be blueberries. And so everyone's like, well, what about blueberries? Well, okay, we're going to find out, because we just did an awesome experiment. One side, like I said, the princess soil that's pH'd with the sulfur and everything. It's got the ultimate everything in it. And the peat moss and stuff, it's all fluffy and mounded up, good drainage. Then the other side is going to just be tilled up earth. So we'll see. Jewel Tucker says, hey, Nate, can you see my? I can see that. So, let's see here. I'll take another drink of this. You guys remember, I am 3 days into a fast, so we haven't eaten anything for 3 days. When you let it sit for a little bit, that cayenne pepper gets kind of spicy. Yeah, so it's actually not bad normally, but when you let it sit, that cayenne pepper, wow. Whew. Let's see here. Am I way? Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to go right to the front. That's right, signal lost. It's not a fast. It's a cleanse, which I keep saying, of course. Technically, it's not a fast because you are still getting some calories. They're in liquid form, of course, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. So here is what we're doing, guys. Check this out, okay? We got some things to look at. Now, the new method of, let's see, you got to rinse your mouth out after that, though. Sorry about that, but because that cayenne pepper is crazy. So here's what we're doing, guys. That new method of starting sweet potatoes is phenomenal and just unbelievable. And it produces, we probably have 100 slips already. And I mean, they're just bursting with roots and everything. So, you know, 100 slips, that's like 600 pounds of sweet potatoes. We're not going to plant all of those. We are going to plant many at the Viking North Garden, though. So we're going to plant them through fabric. So you will see all of that this year. You'll see some of it, but a lot of it is going to be exclusively for the courses, because all the course material is going to be 100% original and exclusive. So meaning that I'm not just repurposing YouTube videos for it. So it's all going to be like the latest stuff with all my new knowledge and updates. But these are working really good. And here's what we do with them. Whoops, Once they go from that level, then we put them into the soil, into these little pots, and then they root up in here. So I really don't think that there's going to be that downtime this year where they just kind of sit there for like weeks and weeks and weeks and do like nothing. They're going to grow pretty much right away. I mean, these, if you look at this, this was a right here, you see? This was just a section of a vine, just like 3 nodes. And there's like 1 node below ground and 2 nodes above ground. And look, see, it grew from that node, this vine here. And then from this other node, it's growing this vine here. And then from down here, it's growing another one. So this is way ready to go on the ground. I mean, it got a little bit light burned for sure when I put it out, but it's ready to go on the ground, no doubt. Let's see here real quick. Let's just take a look and see. Sweet potatoes are very, very hardy. So I'm not really worried about it dying or anything. So let's see here. We're gonna take out these Bootstrap Farmer trays here. And then we're gonna look, oh yeah, don't forget to remind me to show you guys mushrooms, okay? But look, we're gonna take this thing out right here and we're gonna see how it looks. Now we're just gonna gently go like that. Oh yeah, no problem. Oh yeah. See, it's really dry right now, but it's, look here. That's pretty good. So, I mean, that's ready to go on the ground. That thing is going to explode. There's not going to be that month of just wilted where it looks all sickly and terrible. These are going to be pretty happy going into the ground. But we still got another like 2 weeks. So I've already had to trim these things back 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, it's going to be 30 degrees in 10 days from now. So it's just crazy. So this is pretty much the ideal technique. And this is what I'm going to show in the courses is this new way. And the new way is the only way that I will ever do it again. I will not even think about doing it in the water or the burying it in the soil. We're doing this method because it just produces boatloads. We still got like 4 of these things filled upstairs. We've got like 60 of these already started. It's just crazy. So that's the way to do sweet potatoes. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that that's the superior way. So we're going to do it. And remember, guys, when you're doing your sweet potatoes do not like much nutrients. All right. They don't like a lot of nutrients. They like it to be pretty benign. Okay. Here's another thing I want you guys to try this year, ground cherries. Okay. We got 3 different varieties of ground cherries that we're growing this year. And so these things, if you haven't tried them, they are delicious. They're a relative of the tomato. Oh, look, that spider's over there now. They're a relative of the tomato, but they are, let's see, put them on that plant there. They're a relative of the tomato, but they are much sweeter. They're like a fruit. They're like a, sort of like a pineapple. If they get ripe enough to where they fall, you have to wait basically till they fall to the ground, ground cherry. And then they are delicious. They come wrapped in a husk. They're like a tomatillo in the husk, except nice and small. They are so delicious. When they're ripe, they're like candy. They're like candy. They're amazing. So we're going to grow several of them this year. I will show you guys the ideal trellis system that I've got designed for them. So we'll do a video on that. But you still got time, obviously. So you still got time to plant the ground cherry seeds. They sprout really fast. If you've got a heat mat, they will sprout real fast. Yeah. Ooh, man. Goof Damon. Yes, soil microbes will create the pH the plant wants in the microbiome around the roots. That's word for word what I am always saying, and it's absolutely true. But there's so many people that are talking about blueberries being the particular thing that must have this particular range of pH. So I want to see. So we're going to see if that's true or not, because we're going to have direct side by side. Everything else is the exact same except the pH and how the soil is prepared. So that's going to be very, very wonderful. But all the other plants, don't even worry about it. Of course, they will absolutely adjust the pH. And I was talking with Nick, the worm farmer, and he and me were talking, and he was like, you know, I really believe, and it made sense to me. He says, I believe that the plant actually has different pH ranges in its root system to absorb different nutrients. And through his testing and understanding of soil science. And it just clicked. It made perfect sense to me. Well, of course they would. They would sense what nutrients are available where, and they would create different pHs based upon that. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. Joe Slack. Okay, best fertilizer for garlic, please. Okay, if they're 7 inches tall. So what you need to do for the garlic is you need to plant. You need to add fish emulsion or fish fertilizer of some kind, and uh, Epsom salt. Okay, magnesium sulfate. You really want to do that, especially if you're less frosted. Okay, so you're about to where I'm at. Then for now, it's just going to be fish emulsion or fish fertilizer is all that they need. And if you, or compost tea, definitely worm casting extract. But the fish is really going to give them everything that they want, and give them a couple doses of that. And then once you just start to see, but right before you see the scapes even start to appear, you want to give them a good like 2 doses of Epsom salt, because they really want that magnesium and that sulfate. The sulfur that's in the magnesium is going to help them store a lot longer, because it's the pungent sulfuric compounds in the garlic that make them store all winter long. Yeah. So that is what you want to do. Okay. But I'm going to make a video about that when that time comes around. That time is not yet. Lisa T, let us talk about that tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern time on the Thrive channel, because we definitely can talk about that. It has actually much more powerful effect of autophagy. Definitely very powerful. And it's got a healing because it's restorative. Water fasting has no minerals, has no electrolytes at all. So a day or two, okay. The Master Cleanse, full minerals, full electrolytes, good potassium, everything that the kidneys need, everything the brain needs to function. I've done mild water fasting before, and if I was water fasting right now, I would not be talking to you. I would have to cancel, because it's just, but the now I have full energy. Yeah. Alexander, yes, I have not. I just started hearing about this. Someone sent me a thing on it about the JDOM microbial pesticide. I don't know anything about it yet, so we will see. Well, I do know a little bit. It's about adding this other chemical to it at the right time. I don't know yet, so I still need to investigate it and see. But I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure probably. I'm sure we will. So, no, look to nature. Do I know my morning glory? These are garnet yams from the co-op. And remember, guys, in North America, like in America, if we're calling them yams, they're actually not really yams. They're sweet potatoes. The only place you can get yams is like at the Asian store, and they look like they're made of wood, of oak. They're a totally different thing. But these are garnet yams are sweet potatoes, definitely. And so they're going to be really good. This is what I did several years ago when I had my favorite harvests ever. But I just got away from it. Yeah. So let's see here. Let's see what you guys are talking about. Let's see. We got the, let's see. So guys, one thing that we are doing, uh, is planting blackberries. Okay. So we are planting blackberries this year, which is going to be amazing. Now, these are the Doyle thornless blackberries, and they've been bred for 40 years in Washington, Indiana. So they are already adjusted to this climate, but supposedly they're hardy from zones 3 to 10. Now, I got 10 of these, and supposedly these can grow 40, or each plant can have 40-foot canes on it. Now, not 40 foot totally in one direction, but like between all the side branching, it will be 40 feet. So these, you're supposed to plant them, I found out now, 8 feet apart. We were thinking like 4 or 6 feet, I think. But anyways, we're going to plant these and we're going to start training them up a trellis. So I haven't grown them yet, but I've got big hopes for them because they are, say, harvest 10 to 20 gallons per plant of sweet, juicy blackberries. 10 to 20 gallons once they're fully matured. All right. So if you guys want to try some with me or whatever, here is the thing. Okay, I'm not in any way affiliated with these guys. I don't know if these plants are going to work or not, but they have wonderful following. I mean, people have great success over them. This guy lived to be 101, and he was eating blackberries all the time. So he also is the person, Thomas Doyle. He's also the person that developed the tarp gardening method. Yeah. Which we're doing out at the Viking North Garden. We're going into the second year, and that will be a part. That will be a course as well, tarp gardening course. But it's where you just cover the whole garden in a single sheet of super thick plastic, of like 8 mil, 10 mil plastic. Burn holes into that, and you plant into the plastic, and that's it. You don't water, you don't weed, you don't do anything else. And I have used that, variants of that, with great success over the years for certain crops. We are trying it at the Viking North plot. We already ran into that. We did a couple things a little bit like we shouldn't have done, actually. And so we're learning. We have to perfect the system before I can, illustrate it to you guys through the courses. But I would recommend, if you guys want blackberries, these are thornless and supposedly really, really high yielding and delicious. So we're going to be planting these out here real soon. And this is another thing that these people are saying here, actually, that I only realized once I started reading through this, which I'm glad I didn't plant them last week, is it says that the soil pH for these blackberries must be between 5 and 6.5. So when they're talking about their limited 19-month warranty, they'll replace the plants pretty much without question. But then it says exception if the soil pH must be between 5 and 6.5 or the warranty is void. Gosh, okay. So 6.5 isn't really that low. I mean, but we're going to have to adjust it slightly. So those would be the only two things that I adjust pH on, period. I mean, you know how I feel about that. So, but look what you get with when you order them, when you order like 10 of them. I ordered 10 of the plants, and they give you this book, Rose Doyle's, his wife's recipe book. And there's literally like 100 recipes of blackberry ice cream, dark chocolate torte with spiked blackberry coulis, fresh blackberry cake, blackberry cheesecake, blackberry fizz, blackberry eggnog, blackberry frosty, crab wontons with blackberry Szechuan sauce. I mean, that's going to be pretty good. And you can know that it's going to be good because she looks like she knows. I mean, she knows what she's talking about. You don't see grandmothers aren't like that anymore. You don't see that type of grandmother anymore. So that's very endearing to my heart because it reminds me of my grandma, Tana. And yeah, you can just tell these recipes are going to be good. So that's them. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting a boatload of blackberries, right? Let's see here. Okay, Eddie says, I had a few blackberries last year, should have full production this year. I have 2 100-foot rows. That's a lot. What type of blackberry? Yeah? What type of blackberry? Yeah, that's pretty serious. Just me. Thank you very much, my friend. Glad to see you. Bless you. Yes, you too, my friend. Thank you. Hope that everything is going well down there. Can't wait to see you guys midsummer, definitely. We will be down there when it's sweltering heat, but I hope that everything is going well. Don't be afraid to send me some pictures of the updates, how things are growing. Let's see here. Big Will Dog says, have you ever tried using WeatherBug? It's more accurate for temps and forecasts due to using local weather stations. Saturday low temp is 49, Sunday is 42. What? I don't know. I mean, no, I haven't. I should, though. I will after I get off. I will check that out. But I have found that the weather app is actually higher than it is. So when I measure the actual weather with the device, it's much cooler. It's several degrees cooler. When they said it was 24 degrees, it was actually 17 degrees. And so when they said it was, 33 degrees, it was actually like 27 degrees. So, I take it all with the grain. Let's see here. A couple of other things. We got our hot wire fence up and running. So we had to get this tester. So apparently you just hang it onto the fence and ground it. So we will see. We're getting our feet wet with electric fence. We ran 4 lines of it, I think, all around the fruit orchard. So I got big hopes for that because our stuff got just annihilated by deer last year. But I took 4 of the trees back to Rural King. You guys are aware of Rural King, the company? It's like a Tractor Supply. I don't know if you have it where you're at, but I took it back, and even though it was a year and 1 month, and their warranty is 1 year, and it was more than a year. So they didn't technically have to give me anything, but they gave me a full refund, let me get 4 new trees. So that was awesome. Now, 2 of them was pretty much because of the deer. 2 of them just didn't come out of dormancy, though. So 2 of them really was their fault. 2 of them, but they were like, yeah, no problem. So that was awesome. And so that's why I get a lot of my stuff from Rural King, because they're stand up. They're good with stuff like that. Yeah. So another thing that we're doing, guys, we have to pull out the heavy artillery, because guess what? I looked at several of the celery plants that are not really doing much right now. I pulled one of them up, and guess what I found? Symphyllans. I found them. I found the symphyllans, and so that is really terrible. And so I'm not looking forward to having to deal with those in the new plot, because everywhere you read, the number one thing you do for those is till excessively. And I did, and it didn't do anything. And so we're gonna have to look. So I branched off, and so I've contacted these guys and said, what is it? The Good Guys, I think, right? Is the company name? Yeah, Nature's Good Guys. And they were like, okay, let's do a little thing where we think that we might be able to help with that. And so we got some beneficial nematodes. And so we're going to give them a try, and we're going to test it out. We're going to test out a bunch of their stuff, actually, because I'm very interested to see how that works. And if it does, I mean, we're going to test it out for all this stuff, I mean, flea beetles, all that kind of stuff. Aphids, if we get that. So we're just going to test out all that stuff, and we're going to see how it goes. So I got big hopes for that. Real big hopes, because the beneficial nematodes supposedly will go in and eat into the body of certain soft-bodied creatures, which the symphyllin is a soft-bodied creature. And it will implant its eggs into the soft-bodied creature, and then the eggs will hatch inside the insect and eat it from inside out. So this is all on a very, very small scale, so we have to have like 50 million of these nematodes per bed in order for it to work. So we're going to see how it goes. We're going to see. Yes. Yes, me too. You're not kidding. I do not like finding them as well. Definitely. But hey, we're going to, yeah, I know, Sam. We're going to find out a way, though. We're not going to let it deter us. We're just going to try and find out a way. So I've got these two different strains of beneficial nematodes, and we're going to see if it works. But I also want to get their praying mantises, even though I got that from them a couple of years ago. And there's praying mantises everywhere each year now. I mean, I saw they get so big. This praying mantis was fighting a bird. Last year I got a video of it, like fighting a cardinal, and it was wow, and the cardinal was backing off of it. So these things are serious. But I've got tons of video last year of the praying mantises eating some grasshoppers, but they also eat big bumblebees as well. So they're not really, they'll also eat the bees, of course, but they also eat the grasshoppers. Lots of grasshopper. Last year there was no grasshopper problem because we had tons of praying mantises, but we didn't plant them that year, or we didn't release them that year. It was like 2 years prior to that. Yeah. So we'll see. So, I know that was my thought as well, Pam. I wonder if they will lay their eggs in earthworms. I doubt it. I mean, I still need to do a little more specific research into that because that would be obviously a total 100% deal breaker. Nothing would I do to the earthworms that was going to harm them. So we'll see, though. But I mean, the only other alternatives are like, it's just terrible. There are no organic alternatives for it. If they persist and you have to use a chemical, it has to be something like well, I forget, but they have real gnarly names, like it's basically like an Agent Orange. I mean, you just have to just wipe everything out on the soil, which would be horrible. But what's the alternative? Nothing will grow, and that you just can never plant anything again in your garden. That's not going to work. That's not a bad idea. Wes, insect frass at the last stage of compost tea brewing might help get rid of those. But the thing is that my compost has tons of black soldier fly larva frass in it, tons of it. So it's like it's already in there, and you can still see straight up black soldier flies, the exoskeleton. You can still see that. So I'm not so sure that there would be any beneficial, anything more beneficial, but we'll see. Mm-hmm. Oh, B. Hendricks, man, says, I heard there are over 1 million species of nematodes. Yeah, there are so many different varieties of things that we haven't even begun to scratch the surface of it. Haven't even begun to scratch the surface of it. But I want to show you something, guys. Okay, whoops. So now is the time. If you guys want to grow, let's see here. Let's hope that these got some of them in there. A little bit heavy. So if you guys want to grow mushrooms, now is the time. Okay, so we're kind of not really growing the mushrooms indoors right now because I got a little overzealous. I had so many of them last year, and I got distracted and I let them release their spores indoors, and that's unpleasant. That's just unpleasant to deal with, and so we're doing outdoor methods now. So we've got the logs. Well, actually, we've got the logs in the basement still. So I don't know. So we're going to see. Or I'm just going to leave them in the basement because they'll do really well there. I think so. But guys, we are going to do wine caps. Yes, yes, yes. Look at this. We're doing serious wine caps. Okay. Let's see. This is just such a beautiful. Look at all those. So we got 4 good size containers of wine caps because we are going to experiment. We're going to plant these all over the place. These are some, and I've seen these growing in gardens really prolifically. And so we're going to plant them all around and see where they take. We're going to plant them on the We're going to plant them on the north side of some of the beds. We're going to plant them in some dedicated areas. We're going to plant them. We're going to get some mulch and plant them up against the house on the north side of the house. We're going to, I mean, inoculate them technically. So you don't plant mushrooms, you inoculate, but we're going to do that. So get the wine cap, guys. Use the link in the description if you're going to do it. It's like Garden Viking or whatever. You get 10% off. I get a small kickback. That's the way to do it. Thank you. So use the link in the description and use that code. Use that discount code, and then that ensures that we get the kickback. And so now is the time to get them, though. If you plant them now or inoculate them now, you should be getting them by late summer. You should be getting them by late summer of this year, definitely next year and the following years. I've seen people growing these in gardens where once the wood chips are inoculated, they can just take some of their wood chips and throw them in other places, and that is enough to inoculate them. They spread all over the place, and they're super delicious and very nutritious. So we are going to really experiment. We got a whole nother box with several different kinds of mushrooms in there. So, but the wine cap is the tried and true tested. But we're going to know for sure this year. We're not messing around. So we are going to know for sure this year. But we do still got the shiitake mushrooms that are, we still got the shiitake mushrooms that are inoculating the logs, definitely. So that's going to be really good. Now, they've got to inoculate those logs all summer. I mean, I'm not sure exactly when. I'm not an expert in that. I've dabbled, and I am currently getting the knowledge. So that's the thing. I'm currently understanding how that is going to operate. But I don't have like expert level knowledge on mushroom cultivation in that way right now. Back in the day when I was using PF Tech about 20 years ago, before the internet and before it was cool, things were a little bit different. But now it's all like out in the open. So here we've got, let's see, some other kinds. Oh, okay. Ooh, oh, okay. So we've got a couple of other kinds here. We've got Italian oysters. All right. So these are all for beds. I said, okay, look, send me these things, but it's all for outdoor bed growing. We're growing them in the outdoor beds. Super easy. And he said, okay, well, here's all the ones that are going to work. And so mostly wine caps, but we're also going to use the Italian oysters. All right, we're going to inoculate some areas with that. Not the same areas. We're going to do different areas. Also the bluet mushroom. That will be nice. And also the, ooh, we're going to try this one. That would be good. The almond agaricus. That looks like the sort of button mushroom that you would get, right? So we're going to inoculate some stuff with that as well. And we're just going to, and we're going to do it all over the place. We're going to do some with straw. Ooh, this is the one that did it last year, guys. This is a heat-loving mushroom. The pink oyster is so fast growing. Within 2 weeks of inoculating the buckets, I had mushrooms. And it was in the basement. So these things colonize so fast, but they love the heat. So if you put them, I'm going to put some on the north side of the beds and stuff like that, and in some shady areas, and we'll see how much they are able to grow and to colonize. So, but these are the ones that released all the spores all over the whole grow room. I mean, the whole place, it looked like a snowstorm ball fight, snowball fight. And so that was like a turnoff. And so I didn't time it right, though. That was my fault. So it's not the mushroom's fault. It's just doing what it's supposed to do. So we are going to plant these all out, and we're going to make content about all of it. We're going to make several year-long content, because that will be a course as well of the, growing mushrooms and stuff. So now is like my second, third year of growing them like in this way, doing logs and being a part of it and stuff. So I'm getting a better idea about all of it. I can't speak authoritatively yet on it. In another few years, I'll be able to speak, authoritatively for the most part. So if you guys want to do that, now's the good time. Get them wine cap mushrooms using that link in the description and the Garden Viking discount code. Just order you a couple things. You're going to love it because you just inoculate. It's so easy. You just scratch up the ground real good in a nice shady area. Put down the spawn. Put the wood chips over it or the straw over it. Kind of keep it moist. You can put a piece of plastic over it or a thing of cardboard over it for a while. Keep it nice and moist. it should be colonizing that stuff. Do it in a place that doesn't receive direct sunlight, of course, maybe a little bit. The wine cap supposedly can take a lot more than other mushrooms, but you want it to be in a shady place. Yeah. So definitely make that happen if you're interested. Okay, Meyer Lemon says, Nate, when's the deadline to get grandfathered into courses by joining Discord group? So you don't get grandfathered into the courses. That's not yet. Several of you will. You know, several. I'm not sure yet how we're going to do that. Into the actual courses, into that ecosystem, because each course is going to be sort of like an add-on to like the main course. But to get grandfathered into the Discord, which is the community section of the courses. So once the deadline comes, then it will be just the only new people coming in will be the course students, which there's going to be a lot of them because we are learning how to advertise on YouTube, learning how to advertise on Facebook and Instagram, all that stuff. So that's a serious, it's like collegiate level courses that I'm taking to understand how to do all this stuff. It's the logical next step, and it will lead to the vision that I see of the land, not only by being able to finance the land, but also once people are in the Viking ecosystem, then they will understand the courses, and so then we can it will translate very well to leading in-person courses at the land. So it's perfect. It's just perfect. It's the natural way of this evolution of this thing as I'm seeing it. So. The deadline will be, it's not for a while yet. It's not for another month or two yet, because I'm not ready to launch the courses. It will probably be by the fall time. So all of you guys just get in there and start sharing your knowledge, your information, start sharing your pictures, all that kind of stuff. Because once it goes private, then everyone that's already in there can stay, but everyone that's not, you got to join a course. So, which, a lot of you might want to do anyways. Yeah, Big Will Dog, technically they don't need a trellis, no. But I have found that if you want to harvest them easier, see the way I do the trellis for the ground cherries is at an angle like this, and then they grow up and rest on that trellis, and then the berries just fall down. The cherries just fall. They're super easy to harvest. That's why. But no, they don't need a trellis to survive, no. But then you're like digging through the plant and you miss a bunch of them and stuff. With this trellis like this, it just falls to the ground. Super easy. So, yes. Yes. Okay. Let's see. Matt Ware is yes. The links are in the description. That is North Spore. Yes. Okay. Ooh, nice. The Lisa Brown says, this is my second year growing wine caps outside and they are already flourishing. I have had quite a lot come up this week. Nice. But you said that you have very very warm temperatures already, right? So that is going to definitely affect it. Right now, we don't have many of the stuff coming up yet. We really don't have much coming up yet. So let's see here. Okay, well, yes, of course. Mom Computer. Well, thank you for that, but I actually find better success with a trellis. So it's not a waste of time and money. But thank you for that. And yes, when they fall to the ground is when they're ripe. But try a trellis sometime. It makes harvesting much easier and cleaner. Yes. So especially if you're trying to grow a lot in a small area. This isn't my first time growing ground cherries. I'm not experimenting with it. So, okay, guys. Yes, Matt Wares, you joined the Discord last week. Just need to figure out how it works. Get in there and play around. Just get in there, play around, share your pictures. That's what it's about. So it's super cool. Lots of helpful information. Lots of you guys are in there helping out, which is great. That's what it's all about. So I think that covers it, guys. And we will see you. We'll see the Thrive Tribe tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern time on the Nate Muri channel. And we will see you guys right here next week. Remember, if you're doing shopping on Amazon, definitely use the link in the description to get on Amazon. When you click on that link, anything that you buy while that browser window is open, we will get the credit for. So let us do that. Yes, which I know a lot of you are. So I thank you very much for that. That's the easiest, simplest way to help out the channel. If you're already shopping on Amazon, so why not? Why let them keep it all? Why not give us some of it? And I think that's about it, guys. So yes, let me know in the comments, what do you want to see me try and grow in the green stalks, in the vertical gardens? That's going to be a very good experiment this year. Okay. So thank you guys for everything, and we will see you next time. Ooh, whoops. Mike O'Donnell, $5. Thank you very much, my friend. Says, says, can I use chicken manure liquid fertilizer for hydroponics? Okay, for hydroponics, the liquid, I mean, it depends on the system. You can, but you'll just have to figure that out. I mean, it can be done. I know that, but my experience with hydroponics back in the day is that things like that will turn rancid. Things like that will make your reservoirs really rancid. So it depends. There's so many different kinds of hydroponics now. If it's a passive, it just depends. But I would, for the best success with hydroponics, well, I can't really speak authoritatively on it, truly. So I can just say that I never had success utilizing natural organic substances in the hydroponics because you don't have the soil food web. You don't have the power of the soil food web there to digest everything and to cycle the nutrients. So the things will turn rancid. So that's my experience. Thank you very much for the contribution.